Hi, this is Fatima. Here let us discuss about ASP.NET Core built-in model validation attributes. Before proceeding to this video, watch my previous video where we have discussed about model validation in ASP.NET Core. Validation attributes. System.componentModel.data annotation namespace contains several attributes. We have seen required attribute in our previous example. These are the common built-in validation attributes in ASP.NET Core. Range, required, regular expression, max length, min length, and compare. This range specifies the minimum and the maximum value allowed, and the purpose of this required attribute is to specify the field is required. And this regular expression validates if the provided value matches the pattern specified by the regular expression. The max length specifies the maximum length of the string, and the min length specifies the minimum length of the string. The purpose of the compare is to compare the two properties of the model. For example, comparing password and confirm password. And apply multiple validation attributes on a property by separating them with a comma. Let us understand these things with some example. This is an ASP.NET Core MVC application we have created with a simple empty project template. Let us use this in order to understand the ASP.NET Core built-in model validation attribute. We have already used the required attribute. In addition to this required, we can also use some common attributes like range, compare, depends upon our need. Click on this add product. So without filling the required fields name and description, if we click on the add, it will show that error message. In order to display this validation error message, we have used that ASP-validation-for tag helper, and also display the summary of all these validation errors. In order to achieve this, we have to use ASP-validation-summary tag helper. So let us use the development to include the summary tag helper. Give ASP-validation-summary. The value for this tag helper may be all or model only or none. We will discuss the difference between these values in our upcoming video. For now, let us set it to all. Now with these changes in place, let's run the application and see the output. Submit the form without giving the required field value. By default, the required attribute on the property will display the validation error message like for the name property, the name field is required. For the description property, the description field is required. If we want to change this validation error message, we can also do that. In order to change the validation error message as per our need, we can use the error message property of the required attribute. So let us include the error message property, and we can provide our own message. So with these changes in place, now let's run the application. Click on this add product form. Without filling the required field name and description, let us give some price. Click on this add button. You can see the validation message for the description that we provided in the error message property of the required attribute. We can also change the color of this model validation errors. Let us do that by using the bootstrap class text-danger. Let us use the same for description also. Let us apply the same bootstrap class for validation summary also. So now with these changes in place, let's run the application and see. Click on this add product. Without providing the required fields, let us submit the form. You can see the color changed for the validation errors. In this form, you can see by default the label for the size field displays the text size because the property name is size in the product class. If you want this label to display some other name like bedsheet size, we can also achieve that by using display attribute. Name as bedspread size. This display attribute is not a validation attribute. It is commonly used for display purpose in the UI. With this change, now let's run the application. Click on this add product page. So without filling things, let us fill the price alone and click on the add button. You can see here the label for the size changed to bedspread size as we set the display attribute. We can apply the multiple model validation attribute also for see how to achieve that. In addition to this required attribute for this name property, let us add one more validation attribute, that is the maximum length for the name to be 30 characters. So the property name is max length. Let us set it to 30 characters and the error message being the name should not exceed 30 characters. Right. We can also achieve the same by stack them on the top of each other. Let us do that for description. Let us set its minimum length to 'So here we have applied the multiple model validation attribute required as well the minimum length on the description. Let us set the range validation attribute for this property price. Here the range validation attribute enable us to validate whether the value of this price property falls between the specified range. Here we have specified minimum as 100 and the maximum as 1500. Place. Now let's run the application and see the output. Click on this add product. This, in addition to the required attribute, here we have set one more validation attribute, that is the name's maximum length is 30 characters. So let us give the name more than 30 characters and the description minimum length should be 15 characters. So let us give the description with minimum number of characters, less than minimum number of characters, and the price should fall within 100 and 1500. Let us give 40 out of range. So click on this add button. You will see the validation error shown as expected. Hope you enjoyed this video. Our next video is about select list validation in ASP.NET Core MVC. Thank you.